Hey, it's Yay for Yarn, and today I'm going to do a little tutorial on how I like to make infinity scarves on the Addi King Knitting Machine. I know everybody has their own method of doing it, but this is the way I like to do it. And my infinity scarves are grafted. The ends are grafted together so that there is no seam at all. And I do have a video on grafting tubes from the Addi, which you will need to watch to make this scarf. I like to start with a piece of waste yarn for my cast on so that I can graft the ends together. And so I'm going to start with the first black needle and my waste yarn and cast on all the way around. I'm in circular knitting mode. Alright, there's my cast on. And now I'm going to clear my row counter and start knitting with my working yarn. This is Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn, and the colorway is called Cloudy Sea. And I actually like to turn my Addi sideways to crank because that works. It works better for me. It's easier on my arms. Alright, so I have used up almost all of my skein of yarn, and I've got to 177 rows, and I just wanted to show you something real quick before we start to pick up the stitches and graft them together. A lot of people will go out and buy something to put their Addi on so that they can cut a hole in it and let whatever it is spin around in the hole and hang down. But what I like to do is find the end of it and roll it up like a donut inside of itself over and over and over again. And then while you're knitting, it's not only giving the same amount of weight evenly around your knitting machine, but it's also not, piling up under your machine. So I like to do this whenever I'm doing something long, and then that way I don't have to have some kind of table, extra table with a hole in the middle to have my Addi on. So I've stopped knitting, and I've got 177 rounds, and when you stop here, when you graft something together, you need to have a tail on your yarn that's at least 2, preferably 3 times longer than your piece is in length, as far as the length of the row. So while this is stretched significantly, I'm going to, add extra just in case. I'd like to have extra because you can never have, it's always bad to have a tail that's too short. So that's 1 time around, and then 2 times around. And this is actually bigger than what my piece is around, so I feel fairly comfortable with that. I usually like to have more, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do now is take this tail, drop it down here where that it's not going to get caught in the needles, and I'm going to thread some waste yarn through my yarn needle and start picking up all the stitches off of the Addi needles. So this is starting to pull, so now would be a good time to unroll the donut. And I don't want to turn it inside out, so I'm going to shove it back through the right way. And I'm just going to let it sit right there in the middle while I finish picking up stitches. Alright, So now I'm going to go ahead and pull on my waste yarn some so that I don't have this never-ending tail getting in the way when I go to graft this. So I'm going to cut my waste yarn here, and what we're going to do is take this yarn, this is the end of the working yarn that we quit with, we're going to thread it through our yarn needle, and then we're going to put the ends of this together. So here's our knitted scarf laid out like this, and this is the beginning, this is our cast on. This right here is the beginning and ending of the round. Down here is our bind off, or our temporary bind off anyway, before we graft, and this is the beginning and ending of the round. So what I'm going to do is line up the start and end point of the round on both ends, and then I'm going to graft the ends together, the ends of the tube together like so. And to learn how to do this, then you will need to go and watch my how to graft tubes made from the Addi video, and that will help you finish up your scarf. That will show you how to graft all the way around and to hide your tails and everything.